the remarkable thing about the spine is if you worked out what it could cope with in Newtonian physics, you would say this can't happen. The vertebra must fracture. And that leads into things like the fascial system, or the myofascial system, how muscles and fascia interact.
Yeah.
Because we talked about this earlier. When I did anatomy at St. Thomas's Hospital, Professor Haynes, who we used to take our anatomy lessons, we had one body for 3 students, and he used to take the fascia out and sort of put it in a petri dish and didn't really speak much about it. He sort of talked about it being padding. But we know now there's been a lot of research in the last 20 years with Professor Stephen Levine at Harvard, Robert Schlepp. There's a lot of investigation into the mechanical properties of fascia. And I did a talk at the Leicester Hospital actually to a whole load of consultants, and I incorporated fascia. And they were completely bemused because they'd never really had this presented like that.
Do you think consultants, of course, have been in practice for 15 years or so. Do you think they've changed in medical training now, that they recognise the value of it when they do their dissections and so on?
I would hope so, but certainly at Harvard Medical School, I believe they are more interested. They're flagging up.
Well, I'm going to mention the dissection we're running later on, and yes, it's a horse, so but the anatomy is the same as a human, but because it's a very recently deceased horse, of course, you get to see all of this stuff.
Yeah.
You get to see, exactly what the fascia looks like, where it goes, how it feels, and what goes under it, what's around it.
Yes.
And so it's an amazing experience to do a dissection on a fresh animal rather than a pickled animal.
Yeah, because obviously the cadavers that you see have been pickled in formalin. And
fresh frozen material is very hard to come by, isn't it?
Yeah, and a lot of the fascia disappears as you see, it gets dissolved. But Claire has, I might even sign up for the course. But yeah, I mean, they've discovered that there are actin myosin filaments in fascia which give it contractile properties. We also know mechanotransduction, if fascia is stretched, because it's a continuous tissue and under tension, it creates a piezoelectric field, and it's a bit like a nerve conduction. It can affect the whole fascial field very quickly.
Right.
So this is the theory about...
Affect it in what way?
Well, it can tense up. So, if you're doing the high jump, for example, with the fascial system interacting with the muscles and all the ligaments and all the other things which we'll elaborate in a moment, the body can cope with extraordinary loads, because as I said, if you based it on Newtonian physics, you wouldn't think this was possible. So I hope that in the future textbooks do start to have fascia in the actual books. I haven't seen it yet, but there's been a lot of research and it's very evidence-based. So, I think that will change.